Oh, yeah.
We've got Hawkeye to talk about. We're in, guys, I am still torturing Miracle, making her watch this show. I'm the only, I think me and a couple other people are the only people that are liking it. You can even accuse me of being
that one other person that you like.
Mr. H liked it from what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how he feels about this episode. I did not like this one as much as I liked episode 4.
Mm-hmm.
I despised. So guys, first we'll talk like the episode. In the episode starts with it's right after the rooftop scene from the episode before, and Kate comes home and talks to her mom, because remember right before this, what's her name? Vera Farmiga, her mom.
Yeah.
So right before this, Clint tells her that there's a Black Widow assassin, meaning that they've just seen Yelena.
Yeah.
There's a Black Widow assassin.
I'm just gonna call her Lauren.
There's a Black Widow assassin involved now. Like, you can't be involved anymore.
Yeah.
I have to do this on my own. So she gets sent home. She has a really good scene with her mom, in my opinion. Like that, like they got their money's worth for casting Vera Farmiga in that scene. Like, she took what could have been very, very leftover material and I think made it pretty well. And then she goes back to her apartment, and then we have this scene where Yelena and her eat food. And it's just the most Marvel Comics of 2021 thing ever, where everything's cutesy pie and stupid. And he's like, oh, she's like, I like
hate
hot
her
sauce.
accent.
It's Florence Pugh's not Russian, is she?
I know she's not Russian, but her accent is very offensive.
Why? What do you mean?
Because it's not a Russian accent. It sounds like a deaf person.
I don't think so.
It sounds like a deaf person.
As somebody who's half deaf, I do not believe that is true. But
no, like, you remember the episodes of Family Guy of their deaf characters?
No, I don't.
Oh, just me?
Just you.
Okay, well, there's like a deaf character and she talks like that.
She's from the UK, so she's probably better at doing a Russian accent than... I don't think it sounds that bad. I think it just sounds thick. It just sounds like a thick Russian accent.
No, but she jumps in and out of that accent. Like, when she says "and," it's very American.
She's not American. She's
I know,
from
but
the
like,
UK.
it sounds American.
But she's not American, so why
I
would it
know
sound
that.
American?
I know that. I'm just complaining.
Can you give me an example, like of a phrase she said that I don't recall? It's not important.
Okay.
It's not important. I will say that the accent is very like over the top. It feels over the top, and at the very least, it's better than David Harbour's version from the Black Widow movie.
Yeah.
Which was really bad. But it's so basically she gets there. They have their scene where they talk about she's like, oh, I'm an assassin and I'm here to kill Clint Barton, and they have their stupid conversation about stupid food, and it comes off as like they're not taking this seriously. I hated that scene a lot. I think the reason I didn't like this episode as much as the other ones is because there wasn't much of her and Clint together. Yeah. And what I've come to like about this show is her kind of feeling like she's a mentee under Clint Barton, right?
Yeah.
So she's not perfect. As we feared she would be. Sure, we didn't get to see how she got to be as good as she did, but she definitely makes mistakes. Haley Steinfeld's Kate Bishop makes mistakes. She's not perfect, and in this scene, she calls Clint like 5 times like a madman, and I like that scene. I liked any of the scenes where they're either not fighting or they're together, and I think that's why I didn't like this episode as much, because there wasn't much of that. And then they absolutely, and spoiler alert for about the next, they ruined that Kingpin reveal at the very end. It doesn't do Vincent D'Onofrio as that character justice. And I'm honestly like, if anything bummed me out more than anything, it's that they built up all the way to the end just to have Clint say, that's the guy I've been worrying about, Kingpin. And I hate that, because he calls him Kingpin and not Wilson Fisk. When what he should have said is, like, first of all, there should have been a scene of him talking, because the delivery that Vincent D'Onofrio, the way he portrays that character, the way he speaks, is so iconic.
Yeah.
It's so noticeable. It's its own thing, that they did it a disservice to just show him in a photo and not have him actually show up on screen and say something.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's why. Maybe that just left a bad taste in my mouth as to why I didn't like it. But the fight scene with Ronan and not Maya was pretty good.
They call her Maya.
Yeah,
they didn't call her Echo.
She's not
yet.
Echoes yet. that was fairly good. I do think it was stupid that she got the drop on him at the end and Kate had to save him, but that's just me being picky about it. And I think Maya showed some good emotion.
Yeah, this time I actually like it because like she walks up. What's the character's name that's always with her? Kazi. Like she said, "You're his second hand. Where were you when my dad was attacked and died?"
So that will be addressed in the next issue. I saw a thing on IMDb. I have no idea why they would tell us this, but they're like, in the show, no characters die. Like that's I'm like, it's a superhero thing. We're supposedly like, that's like a big thing. Like they're like, no characters die. I'm like, so there's no stakes. Yeah. What you're saying is like, so I guess that's nothing bad's going to happen to Kazi, whatever it may be.
He gets stabbed in the leg. That's it.
That's probably what will happen. He'll get stabbed in the leg. But I enjoyed Maya in this episode more than I did in her previous one. I
tolerate her in this one.
Yeah. I'm more charitable. So it says in the article, it says Hawkeye episode 5 review, Ronan excels by showing the future potential of the MCU. And I think that boils down why I dislike this so much is that he's a background character in his own show.
Yeah.
He's becoming, it's no longer about Hawkeye. It's about Hawkeye as Kate Bishop, not Clint Barton. And that sucks. So it says, while Hawkeye's intent has been to flesh out a character who never got the screen time he deserved in the MCU movies, the goal of the Disney Plus series released so far has been to expand and explore the possibilities of where the larger MCU might go. WandaVision explored the potential of the multiverse and how they could be used to reference past Marvel films. Spider-Man No Way Home in theaters this week. Loki introduced Kang the Conqueror and the idea that we could see multiples of the same hero in the future. Another superhero team in the works, organized by Julia Louis-Dreyfus. That's from Seinfeld, right? Okay. Valentina, Hawkeye showed the potential possible in the MCU, and yet I'm not talking about the reintroduction of Kingpin as Vincent D'Onofrio in the final minutes of Ronin. Sure, many of us wondered if Netflix shows would ever be integrated into the MCU in Phase 4, mostly inspired by the reports of Daredevil's Charlie Cox was seen on the set of an upcoming film, Spider-Man No Way Home, in theaters this week. Yet, yes, bringing back D'Onofrio, especially after months of the actor's misdirections on Twitter saying that he would love to reprise the role, is an electrifying development in this world. Introduces a new major villain to the MCU and ties together a lot of the loose threads of Hawkeye, but the most exciting aspect of Ronin in terms of what it means for the future of the MCU is Yelena, who gets more of a focus after her introduction in last week's Partners, Am I Right? That was the name of the episode. After a apparent prerogative of the Disney Plus's Marvel TV series has been... I'm sorry, we're going to restart that last one again. Another apparent prerogative of the Disney Plus Marvel series has been to introduce the next wave of potential Marvel heroes, and while Hawkeye has already done an excellent job at introducing Haley Steinfeld's Kate Bishop and Alakwa Cox's Echo, it has done a fantastic job in Ronin of showing how incredible the dynamics could potentially be in the next era of the MCU, away from the heroes we've known for more than a decade. Like in Partners, Am I Right? And the majority of Hawkeye's Ronin, Ronin is at its best when it focuses on the new relationships of two characters. Ronin blesses us with a tremendously fun conversation between Yelena and Kate in a girls' night. That's the scene I was referring to that I absolutely despised on every level. That includes discussions of boxed mac and cheese, Kate's lack of cutlery, and what being an Avenger means. So in other words, a bunch of like cutesy bullshit that has nothing to do with what's supposed to be a super serious situation. It takes away from the seriousness of the tone, and it makes out like, why are we even talking about this in a series that's supposed to be about Clint Barton?
But at the end scene of like her and like Kate like having that talk, like she leaves the door, and before she leaves she's like, if you get in my way again, and like, oh no, she says, don't get in my way.
Yeah.
And I like that part. I actually liked because they stopped talking.
Because they stopped talking. Like, to me, that scene ruined this episode because, first of all, I don't think that Florence Pugh makes that character as terrifying as she's supposed to be portrayed as.
Yeah,
I don't think she doesn't look like an assassin. She doesn't move like an assassin. She doesn't have the demeanor of an assassin. And the fear that Clint is supposed to strike in you when he says there is a Black Widow assassin chasing me now. This has gotten very, very serious. I didn't feel. Then you turn around and you make it about this stupid conversation about mac and cheese.
Yeah, like you brush
Pick a
it
tone.
off. Yeah, because like when he says there's a Black Widow and then they have that scene, like you brush it off. You're like, oh, it's whatever. It's a Black Widow. Not that scary.
Pick a tone. Either it's very serious and she should strike fear in Kate Bishop's heart, or you choose a not so serious tone like a lot of the show, and you go from there. But I don't think the two meld well at all.
No. Do you think it would be better if they had the actress from Shang-Chi, the one that played as the Black Widow, as the assassin instead? They're like, Black Widow's after me, and it's like her just speeding up somebody. Was
that who we saw in that scene in the beginning? Was that the same actress?
No, different.
Okay,
it's a different. The
one who was with. Okay, yeah, in the beginning.
No, because the actress that we saw in Shang-Chi, she's the actress from Sucker Punch.
Okay. So it says Ronan also did an exceptional job of showing where Yelena has been since the events of Black Widow. So all they're doing is working out timeline issues like that. Waking up the brainwashed widows, at least until the blip occurred and caused her to lose 5 years of her life. We've certainly seen characters dealing with the ramifications of the blip many times, but never in this way, as we've seen the event from Yelena's perspective. In the blink of an eye, the world around Yelena moves forward half a decade before she realizes that it was even gone. That scene played really well. The CGI was really good there. The scene of her evaporating and coming back, I really liked that.
Yeah. And especially what like breaks my heart, because she's like, wait, what happened? And they're like, you've been gone for 5 years. And she's like, no, I only been gone for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh God.
And I still say the fact that we didn't get more of Jack. I would rather see Jack Duquesne on screen hamming it up with his mustache than Florence Pugh right now. Than Yelena Belova. So that's just my personal opinion. That's not to say that I didn't think that I still am liking this show more than I thought I would. I thought they did a fair good job of making Ronan, at least of not making a joke of the Ronan character in the scene where he takes out all of Maya's henchmen. That was fairly good. But in general, there's just this lack of stakes to these shows that makes it hard for me to get invested in. Like, you can't just talk about how she's a deadly assassin and then go to talking about mac and cheese. It's not funny. It's not fun to me.
What brand of mac and cheese? Now I'm curious.
I don't know. What do you think?
Kraft.
What do you think it was? Well, she called it boxed mac and cheese. See, we're talking about it, and that's just stupid. Like, she called it boxed mac and cheese. The one thing I can say about that scene is Haley Steinfeld did a good job of, like, she does this, like, a very good job of playing, like, deer in headlights as people act around her. Like, when they talk about eating reindeer, and she makes this ridiculous face. There's an actress named Tamara Taylor who has a very similar expression she makes in roles that she does. So I like that, and I'm growing to like like Kate Bishop more than I thought I would. But it still just feels like this is all one big ploy to replace the past Avengers, and that sucks.
They're trying to replace all of them.
I guess to be expected in an expanding world and expanding universe, but I don't feel like they're doing it as well as they could be.
That's
Personal
true.
opinion.
That is so true. That kind of, like, you know how we were talking about, like, how Marvel's gonna be the she-verse?
The MCU.
The MCU. Like, it kind of reminds me of, like, this article that we were talking about where it was, like, RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah.
And, like, it's the first straight guy.
Yeah.
Like,
it's always about, like, finally, the first of this or the first of that. They just love the headlines.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, which I don't appreciate, but I do hope it does get better. Because I do like that scene where, like, she's about to leave the door and she's like, don't get in my way. And then she walks away.
And then she doesn't really come back for the rest of the episode other than that scene at the end when she kind of tails Kate Bishop's mom. I think that's the only other part of the scene that
I think it would be better if, like, they had a scene where she's fighting Maya. Like, Maya and her, like, meet and then they fight. Yeah. Because, like, Maya is supposed to be, like, a MMA fighter. While, Lauren here. I'm just gonna call her different.
Yelena
names.
Lauren.
No, Lauren.
Marsha.
Marcy.
We'll just give her a different name every time, like we said.
Okay, her name is Mia. So Mia here, like, basically she's a Black Widow. So I kind of want to see that, like, them fighting, because like you're supposed to be intimidated by both of them, and the only action scenes we had wasn't that great.
I'm sorry. And plus, I just think Florence Pugh is just tiny. She's just. I understand that that's not supposed to matter to the character, right?
Yeah.
That they're supposed to be, that they're femme fatales, blah, blah, blah. I get that. But you could pick someone who looks, think more Gina Carano, less, tiny little
Wait, what
person.
about Ming Yao Wen? What's her
Ming
name?
Na Wen?
Yeah.
Or Ming Na Wen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about her?
Yeah, she's good.
She's good, but she's like a tiny
No.
figure
she's
too.
Pretty, she's athletic. She's pretty athletic. Same with like, okay, let's say I feel like Ming Na Wen is more so than say Chloe Benet. Is it Bennett or Benet?
I
Bennett.
think it's
But now it's Wang, right? Because her actual last name is Wang.
Mm-hmm.
Ming Na Wen looks more of an athlete to me than Chloe Bennett does. She just looks like a small.
But like I like her action scenes too. I like her. I like her.
To
Maybe
each their own.
I don't know, because like for me, I feel like it's kind of cool. You have a itty bitty girl, because like look at our coworker Allison. She's an itty bitty girl, but she lifts a lot of things.
The Maya character looks more athletic to me. Looks more intimidating to me than Yelena.
Yeah.
That's just me. So
Maybe.
So I don't know. I think one episode left, so we'll see where that goes. I mean, I'm still enjoying this show more than I thought I would, and he better get home for Christmas. Like I said, if he does not get home for Christmas,
what if it's like Christmas Day and it's like almost about to turn midnight and he opens the door?
That better be what it does. Also, Linda Cardellini stealing the show with her phone conversation with Clint again, proving that she is far superior than the rest of them as an actress. I stand for Linda Cardellini, hardcore. So yeah, we'll see what happens. He better make it home for Christmas next week.
The Christmas.
He better make it home for Christmas. And there better be cool gifts for all the kids.
What if it's all trick arrows?
That would be cool. I'd be cool with that. He gets trick arrows for all the kids.
Like watch the daughter go like, "Oh, I got the bubble gum one."
It's somebody's got to get the punching bag or the boxing glove arrow. That's DC, but. Somebody needs a boxing glove.
You think they'll steal it by now, because DC and Marvel always steals ideas.
That was good. So I liked the episode, but I did not. I think it was more it was that one scene of it was the macaroni and cheese scene ruined it for me. That's just me.
But come on, hot sauce. She got sriracha and put it into her.
Like I said, it takes away from the stakes of the show. And then 2 minutes later, she's at home watching her mom's fiance get arrested. And the scene right before that, she's crying on her shoulder, on her mom's shoulder. And then in the middle, mac and cheese. Down with it, man. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.